18 years old Minoru Kageno is a special teenager. He's so special and delusional that he creates an underage girl army to work for himself. He wants to be so special that he'll be able to surpass the nuclear bombs. He wants to be nuclear himself. And how does he do all of this? By Isekai, transporting himself to another world. He jumps in front of an infamous Coca-Cola semi-truck during Christmas time because it's the magic time of the year. That way he gets magic powers. This is the most popular girl in school. She's so nice she tries to be kind to everyone, even to our main character, who's going to be the future nuclear pimp. She tries to make him pronounce her name the right way, but he ignores her. He's busy doing his OP Rock Lee stuff by carrying around like 200 pounds backpack, 200 pounds shoes, and always having 200 pounds gripper from AliExpress. She insists on him pronouncing her name right, but he tells her that she must be a named NPC because usually he remembers the names of the main characters. Our guy is so OP that he addresses everybody in his class as NPCs. All he cares about is more power. Akane is the name of our named NPC girl. She gets kidnapped while getting home later that night. The last thing she sees is our protagonist, the nuclear lord, and she thinks that this is all his doing. While our outdated gangsters try to do the unholy thing to her, the main character plays Batman and jumps in to have some fun too. When they see him, they go like, "Who the heck are you?" He goes like, "Thank you for asking. I am Billie Eilish. Just joking, I have a name. And that is, wait, what's my name? Yeah, I got one, and it's the stylish grounded beef slayer." After inventing the crappiest name ever, the guy in front of him is like, "No, that's not your real name," and tries to shoot him. Our main character reads his body language and slams the guy into the ground, putting him on sleep mode. The next guy is taking out a knife, but our dude brings in 2 crowbars. Sid, this is how he's going to be called further in the anime, spins the crowbars and drops the military guy's knife. The military man starts to box the crowbars with bare hands. Sid explains to him that he found the crowbar to be a very useful tool and that they have real potential in combat. They even helped him regularly beat up the motorcycle gangs that were disturbing the peace in the neighborhood. And if they were wearing helmets, they wouldn't get killed when he struck him in the head. The military man is shocked to find out that he is the maniac who killed the bikers. Sid beats the crap out of everybody by making them ground turkey, 15% fat and 85% lean. The NPC girl is so shocked at what just happened, but still she's happy that these outdated gangsters got their balls smashed. After all this, Sid still doesn't feel like he's himself. He's not the human being he wants to be. What if a nuclear bomb hits? He'll disappear. He'll disintegrate. He wants to be a person that nuclear weapons won't destroy him. That's why he smashes his head into a stone a couple of times and screams like a freak, "Magic, magic, 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 magic," and jumps in front of the infamous semi-truck and reincarnates into another world as Sid Kageno, a baby that never cries. He doesn't know how he got there, but what matters now is that in this world, everything gets filled with magic. And everyone has hopes for being an OP knight, but not him, actually for his sister. But Sid doesn't mind playing along the side character. One day, Sid attacks a caravan of thieves. He wants to punish them. These guys attack him, but Sid is like Robert Patrick as T-1000 in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. He's slaying through them, even pretending that they wounded him, but he was just kidding, that guy. After killing those guys, he promises them that he'll make good use of all their money. He also finds the ugliest girl in the whole anime who's a rotten blob and takes her home. After a month of experiments on her, Sid manages to pull something good out of it, and the ugly blob turns into a minor girl, like, for real guys, a minor girl. Sid acts dramatically in front of her and convinces her that he saved her from the guys who put that curse on her, and the name of those is the Cult of Diablos, a group of people who plot to revive the great demon, and his mission is to stay in the shadow and act from the shadow to stand against the actual shadows and stand against their evil schemes, and his name is Shadow, and he lurks in the shadow in order to hunt the shadows. And yes, guys, he made up this whole thing on the go. After this flawless speech, he recruits this minor girl to work for him, and he calls their organization Shadow Garden, and Sid names the minor girl Alpha. This is the way he manages to pull out his army of minor girls that are working for him. Back home, he plays very well the role of a background character, pretending to be weak when sparring his sister. He's just messing around with people by pretending to be a wimp. At this point, his sister is kidnapped, and Sid summons his minor army, now having 7 minor girls working for him. He's a legit nuclear pimp. He summons his minor worker Beta to start looking for his sister, and Beta brings a map, but Sid is so OP that he accidentally points to the map and it turns out his sister is in that location. It turns out to be a hidden location on the map where he pointed. His sister, in handcuffs, has a conversation with the cult of Diablo's pimp guy. He tells her that he wants to have a conversation with her brother. She gets mad and breaks the handcuffs. She warns him that if he ever lays a finger on her brother Sid from Chicago, she'll kill him and his wife, his children, and his entire generation. But the dude goes like, "Shut the heck your mouth," when suddenly a Diablos minion comes in and lets the guy know that they're under attack. An army of underage chicks just wipe their butts. While running to the scene, the minion's head flies out of his shoulders. After, let alone the Diablos pimp guy, gets jumped by the baddies, and he gets bitten by the miners at that point. He takes out his 18 grams of coffee beans. He was planning to make a perfect espresso shot, but was interrupted. He swallows one and gets powered up. After getting powered up, he pushes Alpha back and does a hole in the floor to escape. And yes, this is Alpha and this is Beta, guys. The espresso lover encounters Sid, who is just wondering to find out the way out from the tunnel.
Why are you running?
He attacks Sid, but Sid stops him in the coolest way possible and shows his power by slapping this guy's sword to the side and cutting his shoulder into a couple of pieces. The Diablos guy goes, "I don't care how strong you are, I'll still kick your butt," and Sid goes like, "You better do it." This time the Diablos guy takes out Viagra pills, no more coffee beans for this guy, and consumes all of them. After doing this, he transforms into Hulk from Avengers and charges at Sid. After attacking Sid like 1,000 times, Sid tells him that he's not that guy. "You're not that guy, pal," and charges back an atomic attack on Hulk guy and put him on airplane mode. Then Sid goes back home to his normal NPC role. His sister makes it back home after a day, but she knows clearly that something's not right with her NPC brother. Then his miner workers tell him that he is not on their taste anymore, and they'll leave him because they have only one life to live. Shadow doesn't mind and lets them leave. Sid ends up at the most prestigious night academy, where he plans to play the role of an insignificant NPC. He makes two side characters his friends, Scal and Poe. Trying not to catch anyone's attention, Sid feels around them like the most side characters ever. He's so OP that Sid even scores the lowest points on the tests on purpose. That's why his genuine side character friends punish him, and the punishment for that is to confess love to the hottest girl in the academy and get rejected. While walking in the park, they see a named NPC confessing his love to another side character, or better said, another named NPC, a girl who's a princess. He brutally gets rejected, leaving him crying like a 3-year-old baby. Sid's side character friend suggests to him that this is his chance to shine, to confess love to the named girl character. Sid even practiced the whole night to confess his love to her to make sure to be rejected. He goes like, "Princess Alexia, I like you. Please be my girlfriend."
Will you please be my girlfriend?
Bro doesn't have to humble that much. She looks at him and says, "Okay, I will. Honestly, let's get married." Scal and Poe are shocked, including Sid. How did he get sucked into this? He doesn't want any babies. At the moment, he's just 15 years old. The next day, Sid is trying to get dumped by Alexia because he's not ready to have kids. He rudely eats all her food at lunch, but nothing happens. Next, they have a sparring match. After that, he finds out she's dating him just to escape this guy who she says doesn't have flaws and is perfect in every way. And yeah, guys, we're talking about the named NPC from the park who she rejected. Sid goes like, "So basically you don't want to get engaged with the Royal Guard, Captain, and you're just using me to get out of all of this." Sid is not happy to be involved in all of this main character scenario. But Alexia takes out a gold coin and drops it on the ground. Sid goes like, "Do I look like a guy who you can buy?" She's like, "Yes." Absolutely right. He ends up being her puppet just because he's dead broke after his underage harem workers left him. He has no other choice but to play along the puppet game and get some money for the Eminence Shadow undercover operations. But one day on the way home, after arguing with Alexia, he gets dumped. His NPC friends ask him like, "Did you do it?" "At least one, kid. It's been a month already." He's like, "Nope. She's a trans." "What?" "Just kidding. She was hard to tame." Despite having a harem of 7, Sid never had pimp training. Imagine if he would. A group of knights surround him and accuse him of being the main suspect in Alexia's disappearance, since he was the last guy she talked to last night. Alexia wakes up in an underground lab with a Frankenstein-like girl next to her and a freak wonder kid doctor saying, "Blood, blood, blood.
Royal blood, royal blood."
This crazy guy wants to test her testosterone levels, and Sid jokes she's trans. Sid gets beaten up and interrogated by 2 side characters, and honestly, I don't know what's wrong with this Sid guy, but he just lets those 2 do whatever they want to him without moving a finger. Soon he's released though, but he'll not come back to get his revenge. Back home, Alpha Girl meets him, and I guess she's not a minor anymore. She informs him about Diablo's cult members and that they try to revive a demon by using Alexia's royal blood. She tries to make some pimp training with him, but Sid refuses. Then she's like, "Why would you prefer that trans girl over me?" Then he's like, "This is not the right time. We need to save the world." Shadow prepared for this day all his life. He brings in a 900,000 bottle of wine from France, a glass for $450,000, also from France, a Van Gogh portrait, an antique lamp, and a royal chair, which he bought for money that Alexia gave him. All of this is to perform his eminence in the Shadow the right way. Beta girl, who looks like she's not a minor anymore too, comes in and is happy to see him and tells him that on Alpha's order she gathered a team of 114 minors for him, and she is terribly sorry that she could not recruit more girls. At Alexia's place, the crazy doctor brings a syringe and injects Frankenstein girl. She transforms into a Frankenstein Hulk girl, and she instantly kills the doctor because he wiped her face with his shoes before. She helps Alexia get free before going on a rampage over the city. Alexia encounters the Love Boy, who confesses that he was sponsoring the whole operation, and the doctor was his cousin who used to be a woman and actually is a trans. Alexia goes "I'm so relieved that you actually are a freak, so I don't need to marry you anymore." But the lover boy goes "Shut the hell up, you're coming with me. You'll be my wife for the rest of your life." Then Shadow makes his appearance under boss music in the background. The love boy goes "Man, I like your dress style, all black." He goes "I'm Shadow, he who lurks in the shadow in order to hunt the shadows, and I have 114 girls' harem, and that one over there is mine too." The love boy goes "Hell no, this one's mine. I need her blood." And now you're in the presence of one of the main characters and you're gonna get wrecked. While he attacks, Shadow teleports himself and asks, "Where is this main character?" All he sees is an NPC. Brutal, man. Outside, Alexia's sister fights the Frankenstein Hulk girl, who seems to regenerate herself after each cut. She's unstoppable. Iris the princess tries her best to stop Frankenstein girl with no luck. Then Alpha arrives and asks her to stop, and she'll deal with this herself. And guess what, guys? With a lightning strike on the Frankenstein creature, Alpha breaks the curse put on her, and she transforms into a minor girl plus 1 girl for Shadow's harem. Not bad, Alpha. Lover boy talks big and tries to overwhelm and overpower Shadow, but Shadow goes "Stop, dude. This is not the Final Fantasy. This is the reality," and slaps him into the sewer water and asks him if he's sure he's not a side character. When Loverboy understands that he can't beat Shadow in a fair fight, he brings out his Viagra pills. Guys, what is it with the Viagra pills? And swallows them. He transforms into a Super Saiyan from Dragon Ball Z. He shows off by destroying a wall, then throws at Shadow. If this is all you can do, then don't pretend to be Super Saiyan. Shadow, after taking a smoke break, throws an uppercut on him and beats him up, thirsty for justice like Batman. Take this, Gotham needs to be cleaned of side effect affected characters. He tries to fight back, but Shadow knocks this guy out. Shadow activates his move, a radiant purple light, and tells him a story that once upon a time, there was a pimp who wanted to withstand a nuclear bomb. He trained his mind and his body, but there was not enough. So he came to the conclusion that he must become nuclear himself if he doesn't want to be vaporized in a nuclear explosion. The love boy goes "You're insane," and breaks his sword, striking Shadow, but Shadow goes "I am atomic, feel my power!" He goes so nuke that he makes an explosion explosion that irradiates like half the city, leaving a big hole there. Alexia's like, dude, you didn't have to do that. I'd be happy to join your crowded harem without all this. In the following days, Alexia finds Sid and reminds him that he likes her fencing style. Remember, Sid? She wants to thank him. He goes like, you're welcome, and she goes on and tells him since they were pretending to date and how the lover boy got himself killed, maybe they'll date for a little bit longer. Only in your dreams. Since that day, Sid wasn't seen anywhere. Just kidding. He goes back to his normal side character routine when he bumps into another +1 girl for his harem. He looks like he just left a murder scene, so he gives her his hand and helps her stand up. Back to his normal life, his side character friends ask him if he even kissed Alexia once. He's like, no, bro wants to keep his virginity pure, which I honestly don't believe with all these girls around him. Princess Iris invites Sherry Barnett to investigate an artifact that they recovered from the last incident, and the princess wants her to investigate the mystery behind it. With her adoptive father's support, she accepts the new job. Sid decides to go visit the new chocolate place that just opened. He goes like, there should be no chocolate in here, it's out of this world. At the shop, the girl announces that there is an 80-minute wait time to buy chocolate. But Sid's the kind of guy that when women see him, they let him in first. But only him. She says that the other two side characters have to stay out in line. While walking through the store, everything seems so modern and shiny, like the world he came from. The girl takes him to a party, but don't worry, Sid, it's not a P. Diddy party. When he goes into the top room, 114 girls bow in front of him, and turns out that one of his underage minor girls, who is not minor anymore, is the owner of the mall. He calls her Gamma. It turns out, though, that she turned the BS that came out of his mouth a couple of years ago into useful information to build up a chocolate empire. He gets on his throne and rewards Gamma and the other girl with his seeds, I guess, or some sort of magic crap for being loyal. All these girls were infected with demon disease, and he simply cures them. Man. Gamma brings in a table with $1 billion worth of coins. I guess they were Bitcoin mining. Then Gamma introduces a new underage minor girl who's very skilled. Plus one more girl to his crowded harem, I guess. Her name is New, and she'll be very useful. To be honest, I don't doubt it. Sid goes back outside to check what's going on with Alexia. And what is she up to? He finds her beating out random crackers, pretending to be with Shadow Garden Incorporated. Two more appear, and she charges them. She punches one of them, but they corner her and injure her arm as they attempt to kill her. Shadow appears and scares them off. He chases them, rips one of them, and he's about to charge the second one, but New, the newbie girl, the skilled one, tells him, I got this, Lord Shadow. Leave it to me. All right then, bet. Don't disappoint me. The dude gets cracked from one go. No good luck for him. Then his NPC friend Skell tries his Riz level on an upper class girl with a chocolate box. Looks like he almost won her heart, but her boyfriend grabs him by the neck. Hey, what are you doing talking to my girl? Then Skell's led away to be put into a coma. On the way home, Sid gives Sherry a chocolate box. Looks like Sid has one more underage girl for his harem. Back home, she thinks about Sid while eating her chocolate. Sid actually gets harassed by his NPC friends who sign him into a tournament list, which is not his thing to do as he tries to stay low as a side character. Ouch, my stomach. Oh, hurt mine too. He ends up going in the tournament. He goes against Student Council President Rose Oriana. They charge at each other, and Sid pops a blood bag and crushes it to make his injury look real. Perfection. The background character, secret spin technique accomplished. Everyone thinks he's finished, but no. Sid, like demon possessed, spins around and tells him he's not done yet. The referee's like, bro, you look like you're about to die. Rose says to the ref that she can see the remaining desire in his eyes to recruit her for his harem. The ref gives him another chance, and he gets beaten over and over and over again. The ref saves him and stops the match and calls the stretcher to carry him out. Sid pretends that he didn't finish yet. He's still willing to fight. And the poor girl falls for this idiot fake show, and she starts to respect him as her pimp. Sid walks down the street, crushed, I guess, like all in bandages. The pink-haired girl approaches and asks if he's hurt badly. Wait, who are you again? They end up having some tea, and it's obvious that Sherry wants some love from him. Sid ends up, actually accepting her friendship, and she invites over her adoptive daddy. Happy Sid accepted her friendship. We need to pay attention to the grandpa, because this guy is gonna do some serious emotional damage further in the anime. Back home, Sherry, pink-haired girl, dreams of Sid doing the pimp training training on her. Since Alexia and Sid were dating in the past, Sherry decides to visit her, and Alexia is like, "What brings you here, dear?" She asks her if she's still dating Sid, and she goes like, "That was a fake dating for personal reasons, and they don't date anymore." Sherry's so happy to hear this. That means she has a chance to lose her virginity with Sid. Alexia is so mad hearing this, like for real. She is so jealous that she cracks her coffee cup holder. The reason I'm showing all this is to show that Sid's Riz level might be like 900 million plus. As Sid plays his side character role in the back of the class, Rose Oriana pays attention to his Riz level that he showed during their fake fight. Sid, like nothing happens, does this like Rock Lee 200 pounds gripper thing. When a group of crackers attacks the academy, they cast a spell on the academy that cancels magic. Sid feels something is happening. He can't use his magic. He concentrates and realizes that people are coming. They break in and destroy all the swords. They claim to be Shadow Garden. Rose Oriana chick, who will be Sid's girl in the future, like guaranteed, resists them and is about to get sliced when Sid jumps in front of her and pretty much dies. She realizes that Sid's the Riz King and the owner of the biggest harem in the world, and she goes like,
No.
on top of him. She's like crying in tears the first time when she gets rizzed by a nuclear pimp and he has to die like this. The class is taken away and Sid is like so OP that he resuscitates himself back to life. This guy is no joke. Then an NPC guy who calls himself Rex, the great gamer of betrayal, tries to steal the artifact from the pink hair girl Sherry, but her guardians save her and she runs away. Sid looks over the Gotham and sees that the bad guys are wearing black suits during the day, which infuriates him. He blames them for being dumb. What bad character wears black clothes during the day? They should organize all this thing during the night. After killing a couple of them, like 30 bad guys literally in seconds, he spots the miner Sherry trying to be sneaky and he helps her out. Then he leaps from a tall building trying to look like a badass and quickly dispatches off one of the bad guys who want to kill Sherry. She's actually so bad at being sneaky that Sid has to help her out at every corner. Oh, thank God, it's just my imagination.
Oh, good. It was just my imagination.
She's actually so bad at being sneaky that she almost ends up ending her own life. But luckily, Sid catches her. They get to a room where Sherry explains to Sid that there is an artifact called Dragon Eye that blocks the use of magic. The eye catches the frequency of the magic signals and blocks it. And to stop that eye, she found out that the artifact that Princess Iris gave her to analyze is the one that neutralizes the Dragon Eye. Rex, the bad guy, is walking down the hallway to find Sherry, but all of his men get kidnapped in the blink of an eye. He looks around but sees nobody. He gets smashed in the face by Sid and flies away. Our T-Rex guy pulls out a fish net to protect himself and explains how cool is his net to some invisible man, but bro doesn't show that Sid is already inside the net. Sid punches him into a wall. He doesn't manage to recover when he gets punched into another room where he sees a couple of his mates dead. He turns around to see a couple more dead too. Sid hangs upside down like a maniac and quickly finishes the fisherman. Pink Hair Sherry is managing to decrypt the artifact so now they can stop the Dragon Eye that blocks their magic. They're about to go in the tunnel when Sherry is hit with her memories from the past when her mother got killed. She was a researcher and got wiped for their damn research. Sherry witnessed all that. Her mom brutally got stabbed, and at her funeral the uncle she has adopted her and now she calls him father. They part ways and Sherry makes her way to the stadium where students are kept hostages. She finds the knight who holds the eye and throws the artifact at him. This neutralizes its effect and allows everyone else to fight. Rose Ariana fights back and plans to go kill the bad guy, but she's surrounded. Shadow appears like Batman and kills 4 guys in a flash, and his Riz level goes up even more. Rose secretly is glad to see her master. Hell yeah, he calls her beautiful soldier. Bro likes them young for sure. Shadow brought his 114 minor army and he tells them to engage in the fight, and a big massacre takes place. Like the bad guys are starting to lose the fight and the night guy puts the whole academy on fire. The security guard finally arrives and Princess Iris approaches Rose and asks, "What happened?" Some bachelors appeared and started to call themselves Shadow Garden. Sherry is still looking for her paw. Meanwhile, the night guy is burning some books. Sid appears and goes like, "You are Sherry's paw." right? Oh, Sid Kageno, how did you guess? Well, one good look and it was obvious. For my own references, can I ask you something? Why are you doing this? This guy reveals that at one point in his life, he reached the peak of the swords fighting world, but he got sick when he started looking for a cure for his disease. He found Sherry's mother, a very intelligent woman, and he found her research of the Dragon Eye artifact, but there was more potential in that artifact. That woman said that the eye is too dangerous and he wanted to stop him using it, so he killed her by stabbing into her heart with his sword. They clash in a sword fight and Sid loses, being thrown through the window. Rest in peace, Sid Kageno. Where do you think you're going? He turns around to see Shadow ready to devour him. This guy understands that he needs some power up, otherwise he's gonna run out of juice quickly. He uses the artifact to boost his body, transforming himself into a Super Saiyan grandpa. Charges at light speed at Shadow, but Shadow is untouchable. I admit you're very strong, and to show you the right respect, I will put the RIP stone on your grave myself. The Saiyan grandpa blasts at him, but the one who gets caught is the grandpa. He slices his shoulder, and Shadow asks, "Is this all he got?" And the grandpa goes like, "Damn," and blasts at him again. He tries to scare Shadow that he arranged everything that way so that the blame for what happened at the school will be on Shadow Garden, and the entire world will be hunting him down. Shadow tells the grandpa that he simply doesn't care. He dashes at Shadow, but Shadow stabs him in the hand and then again and again in the whole body and finishes him off with the same blow that he killed Sherry's mother with, stabbing him in the heart. Before leaving, Sherry makes her appearance and sees the same scene that happened to her mom. Shadow goes like, "You're better off not knowing the real truth." A couple of days later, Sid meets Sherry. She's kind of broken. She thanks him for the help and tells Sid that she'll go somewhere far away. He asks Sherry what she's planning to do and where she's going, and she tells him,
It's a secret.
Rose searched for Sid in the infirmary and she found him alive. From that moment, Rose stuck around him, confessing her love for him. Sid doesn't like her that much, but he has no choice. It's summer break and they're on their way to the land of magic. Sid does his best to keep his virginity pure, because Rose won't let this bro alone. She wants them to make babies. And after 2 days, somehow avoiding her, they made it to the capital city. Over there, he finds Beta selling famous books under the name of Natsuomi. He understands that all these novels and stories are the ones from his world he used to tell her a lot. Now she simply stole them and became famous. Bro. During the night, Sid spots a bad guy and tries to slay him. Epsilon finishes him first. This girl likes breast implants and rear bumper implants. She uses special slimes granted by Shadow himself. When she talks, her mouth doesn't move, but her melons move. The next day, Sid decides to chill at a hot spring. Bro is actually jacked underneath. His OP Rock Lee stuff paid off. At the hot spring, turns out Alexia is there too. She's so embarrassed to see him naked, but Sid doesn't care. He has an OP Excalibur with him. And Alexia teases him by saying that his lusting glance is all over her, but Bro made a promise not to look at anybody when soaking in a hot spring. Sid asks her not to stare at his Excalibur, but she goes like, "Ha, you call that thing Excalibur? I think the right word for that is a worm. You must not judge a book by its cover." Bro stands up and tells her that the thing she thought of as a worm turns out to be a great sword. Sid leaves and Alexia remains speechless. On the day of the ceremony of the goddess Beatrix, Sid is bored playing his background character. The first contender to summon an ancient warrior is Top Bacterius. Not a bad name actually, but the guy fails. I guess his name says everything. At the end of the day, no one could summon any ancient warrior when suddenly the bishop calls for Sid's name to try the challenge. Sid decides to distract the public and brings in Shadow, who lurks in shadows to hunt the shadows. He summons a freaking woman, Aurora, the Witch of Calamity, the most powerful being who ever existed in history. She summons a bunch of blood spears and throws them at Shadow. She tries to hit him with some more, but he dodges all attacks with ease. Shadow is enjoying the fight while running on a mana wall. This freaking woman covers the whole arena in blood spears. This fight is insane. But Shadow obliterates all her spears in an instant and kills her. Then he just leaves, leaving everyone confused about what just happened. But it's not over yet. A huge red gate appears, covering the whole city. Sid's followed by the gate. He thinks, what the hell is that? He tries to avoid it, but it's still following him. He finally gives in and enters the gate. He finds this girl that he just fought. She's tightened to a chair. She asks him to help her out, and Sid, like a gentleman he is, grabs his Excalibur and sets her free. Plus one more girl for his harem. She also asks him to help her reach the center of the sanctuary so she can gain her memory back. That way she can be set free from this prison. She also mentions that they can't use magic as they get closer to the core of the
the sanctuary. They encounter this minor girl, and the prisoner slaps her for not doing the homework. Just kidding. After slapping this minor in a couple more places, they get to this place where a holy sword is being kept, and they have to break the chains, and they have to break the core in order to escape. She calls Sid to take out the sword, but it turns out that he's not worthy. He actually tries so hard that he leaves a crack on the sword. They might be trapped there until Sid uses his true power, but no need for that, because this bold man appears in there with a minor elf girl who's a legendary hero. Her name is Olivia, and she looks exactly like Alpha. She's very strong. Olivia charges at Sid, and the fight is so intense that we can barely see them fighting. Sid gets overwhelmed, but he manages to put things together and stands in there smiling like a menace. This guy's bold. This guy's mad. Why are you smiling? What's so funny? Olivia attacks him, and Sid lets her stab him. Then he grabs her and bites her on the neck, sucking the life out of her. And after that, he breaks her head, bro. That's the most insane scene right there. I've never seen something like that. The Boldie's shocked at how he survived, but Sid comes out with some OP BS to make him look cool. Sid approaches him, but Boldie says, "A win is a win. Congratulations," sarcastically. "Thank you, yeah." The bold guy summons an army of those minor elves. Sid's mad that he doesn't want anybody to have an army of underage girls that will surpass his. Sid with ease obliterates them in an instant, and the Boldie guy's shocked. How is that possible? A new wave attacks him, but Sid decides to go atomic while one of the elves stabs him in the heart. Bro, this is insane. He wipes out half the city, making a huge explosion, and then he destroys the demon arm that was kept in the sanctuary, which was actually the cause of all those rotten blob girls. Sid wakes up in the forest with Aurora laying on his shoulder, and before she vanishes, he asks him to promise her if Sid stumbles into real her to make her babies atomic like him.